thank you very much for making the time for this.
You're welcome.
Today at the event, you mentioned something which I thought was very interesting,
Yeah.
and that was about using dynamic pricing to improve the customer experience. Could you elaborate a bit on that, please?
Yeah. Well, it's not only the customer experience, but there is no price anymore. As we see at Amazon, it's all based on demand. And so the price of my book will change by the hour, where traditional retailers are stuck putting a sticker on the product, and the only time they change is when they got to try to get rid of it at the end of the season. In Disney's case, they decided a few weeks ago to go to dynamic pricing so that they could to level out the demand so that there was a better customer experience. We talked about the London Olympics in Herman Simon's new book, Confessions of a Pricing Man. Absolutely best pricing book that's been written, just came out a couple months ago. And that Olympics generated more revenue than the previous 3 Olympics combined. And where we're looking at Rio is a financial disaster. And the key was very clever pricing strategy. So the whole point of our presentation is entrepreneurs spend so much time on the cost side of the business, but we spend no time thinking about pricing strategy. We just kind of take a wild guess and make stuff up. And it needs as much or more thought and strategy as we've traditionally put on the supply side of the business.
Another thing that I found was very interesting, this concept you spoke about, theory of constraint, and the way you verbalized that was fantastic. So could you repeat that for our camera, please?
Well, first of all, the most important book ever written in business is Eli Goldratt's book called The Goal. And that's where he outlined this idea called the theory of constraints. And at the end of the day, the number one and only job of the leaders and everyone in the company is to identify and remove constraints. Let's start with the customer. That's why you're in business. The customer's got a constraint. You figured out an easier way to do it. Nobody wants anything harder. They want it easier. So Amazon removed all the constraints to buying something. I can take my phone, one click, and it is delivered. I don't have to worry about what they're charging me on shipping because I got Prime membership. And if I don't like it, I can ship it back. If you look inside the company, look, your job as a leader is very simple. How do we make our employees' jobs easier? Now, most employees think their leader's job is to make their life miserable. Yes. And if you then look at the Scrum methodology, the Rockefeller Habits equivalent, what you're supposed to do in that daily huddle is figure out, all right, here's what we have to achieve this week or the next couple of weeks, the sprint. What's the constraint? What's in our way? And then in the next 24 hours, let's get it out of the way. If I got salespeople in the field, I want to call in every day, and the main thing I want to know is what's in the way of them making a sale? What's the constraint? And our job is to get that out of the way. So we are in a very simple business. Identifying, removing, and or controlling the constraint in the industry.
Thank you very, very much for taking the time to do this. See you soon again.